7 days. That was the goal, to build an outrigger canoe, or prow, in just 1 week. On paper, it sounds ambitious. In practice, it's even more challenging. Building a boat isn't just cutting foam and applying fiberglass. It's design, structure, technique, sequencing, and mindset. So rather than just a build diary, this week became a kind of psychological experiment. What happens when you compress a complex, immature project into a strict timeline? The reality of the timeline. Let's be honest. Building a new boat in 7 days is almost impossible if the project isn't fully matured. Each step demands time, not just for the work itself, but for curing, sanding, rethinking, and adapting. Real boat building involves iteration, setbacks, and decisions that unfold over weeks or months. By trying to fit everything into a week, I was deliberately putting pressure on the system and on myself. The goal wasn't to finish a perfect canoe. It was to force growth. Experimental approach. I used this project as a laboratory. Different materials, epoxy versus polyester, to understand their advantages and disadvantages in real-world conditions. Different tools, brushes, rollers, routing techniques, to see what's faster, what's cleaner, and what fails under pressure. The boat itself was evolving as I built it. There wasn't a fixed blueprint, just a direction. That made every task both a build step and a learning opportunity. And yes, that also introduced frustration. Sometimes you realize halfway through a layup that you'd do it completely differently next time. And that's exactly the point. Analytical reflection. If I break it down analytically, the core issue becomes clear. This is not a mature, repeatable project. It's a young, experimental build. I approached it with an agile mindset, flexible, adaptive, open to change as I go. This is great for innovation, but it also leaves a lot of space for decisions and experiments along the way. That freedom is both the strength and the weakness of this build. In an agile style, each step adapts as new information emerges. But that also means the timeline expands, because many choices happen in real time. To actually fit a build like this into a strict 7-day timeline, the entire project would need to follow a waterfall-style approach. Everything designed, scheduled, and locked in advance, materials, cuts, resin batches, curing times, leaving no room for improvisation. Professional teams can build fast not because they cut corners, but because they eliminate uncertainty. In this case, what I ran wasn't a production build, it was a prototype sprint. The result wasn't a flawless boat, but a map of what works and what doesn't. Psychologically, this is what's called a desirable difficulty. By taking on something slightly beyond my current capacity, I triggered growth through struggle. It revealed process gaps, weaknesses, and new possibilities, all of which will shape future builds. Emotional layer. Let's talk feelings for a moment. Frustration was real. Working with unfamiliar materials under time pressure isn't romantic, it's messy. Mistakes happen. Surfaces warp. Schedules slip. But this wasn't the last build. Each mistake is a data point, not a dead end. It's easy to romanticize. DIY boat building in 7 days. But the truth is, it's a learning marathon, not a highlight reel. Conclusion. So what did I get out of these 7 days? Not a perfectly finished prow. What I got is experience in materials, methods, planning, and resilience. I built not just a boat, but a better foundation for the next one. And that's exactly why this challenge mattered. It wasn't about finishing fast. It was about learning fast.